City ready? Yes. I'll call us to order. Everybody rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And anybody who's going to present testimony today, if you want to go ahead and remain standing, and I'll swear everybody in at once. If you're going to testify today, stand.
Si va a testificar, tiene que pararse. Si van a hablar acá, tienen que
I'll tell you what, I'll
pararse.
tell them and swear them separately so
Okay.
you can translate for me when I do it. You can stay seated, we'll get you done. Do you all swear from the testimony you give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Now, if you would like to stand, you can all sit, and I'll let you translate. Do you swear, are you a notary?
Yes.
You swear, man.
I don't know how to do that. I've never done
Oh, okay. Then I'll let you translate. Do you swear or affirm
that. Que si ustedes, oh my gosh, juran que el testimonio que van a dar es la verdad y nada más que la verdad. They do. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. For the respondents here today, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Special Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the city. I am not a lawyer who represents the city. My role in these proceedings is to act as an independent fact finder. The order that will proceed today is the city will present each of their cases. They will present their witnesses, evidence, and testimony. And after they have done that, you will have an opportunity to present any evidence or testimony you would like me to hear. You also have the opportunity to question the code enforcement officer should you so choose. And if you would like to exercise that right and ask questions, just let me know and I'll make sure that they're available for you to ask any questions you may have of them regarding the facts of the case. If it's questions about things that are outside the facts of the case, that would not be relevant to the proceedings today. And with that, clerk, you may call our first case.
Case number 2020-2236, Scott J. and Mary Ann Justin, owner, location of violation 2921 Lakeshore Boulevard, St. Cloud, Florida. Violation 2015 International Property Maintenance Code, sections 302.1 and 308.1, adopted by the St. Cloud City Code, section 10-33, description of violation, failure to prohibit but rather allowed, an accumulation of garbage, and the exterior proper areas not be maintained in a clean and sanitary condition.
Good afternoon, Melissa Howells, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I am presenting this case for the property located at 2921 Lakeshore Boulevard. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code sections in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $256.90. And the respondent is here and has been provided with copies of everything I'm submitting. On November 9th, 2020, I received a complaint that the accessory structure in the rear of this property had caught fire and that no one was cleaning it up. On November the 10th, I went to the property and verified the complaint. I made contact with one of the owners. I advised her that the accessory structure needed to be cleaned up. She stated that she would let her husband know, and I told her I would check back in a week to see if it was cleaned up or the cleanup had started. I took 6 photographs. On November 19th, I went back to the property, and the owner, as well as some other folks, were cleaning up the structure at that time, so I set my reinspection up for after the holidays. On January the 4th, 2021, a reinspection was performed, and there was still a lot that needed to be cleaned up. There were also 2 trucks without current tags on them. I ran the tags, and one of them was current, just didn't have the sticker on it, but the green truck expired back in 2017. The exterior property areas needed to be cleaned up, and 8 photographs were taken. On January the 5th, a notice of violation was sent to the owners of the property by regular mail to correct the violations within 10 working days, except for the accessory structure, which has a compliance date of 30 calendar days. On January the 22nd, a reinspection was performed, and there were more items cleaned up, but the accumulation in the yard was still there. The green truck was gone, so I closed that violation out of abandoned vehicles. 5 photographs were taken. He didn't put the sticker back on the tag, but I knew it was still good. On February the 9th, more improvements were being completed. On February 24th, I checked the property and it was not in compliance. I knocked at the door, and a friend of the owner answered the door and said that the owner was not home, but his wife was unavailable. She was in the house but unavailable. I explained while I was there, and so he walked me over to where the fire was to show me how much they had completed. I could see some more improvements were made, but it was not in compliance. I took 2 photos and asked the man to have the owner call me. That was behind the privacy fence. On February 25th, the owner had not reached out to me, so I sent a notice of violation by certified mail to the owners of record. On March 16th, I re-inspected the property. I could see more was cleaned up, and as long as I seen improvements, I would keep extending the case. On April the 2nd, another inspection was completed, and the yard was still in violation. 8 photos were taken. On April the 6th, I posted the property in City Hall with the notice of violation due to the post office putting COVID-19 on the green card instead of the owner signing for it. I did an affidavit of posting, and I took 1 photo of the posting. On May 4th, the property was not in compliance. 4 more photos were taken. On May 10th, I created a statement of violation and notice of hearing and sent it by certified mail. I posted the property in City Hall. I did an affidavit of posting and took 5 more photos. While I was posting the property, the owner came out, and I advised him what he needed to do before the magistrate meeting. On June 14th, I re-inspected the property, and the property is in compliance. 3 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of an accumulation of rubbish and garbage, and the exterior property areas not being maintained in a clean sanitary condition. The city would also request that the costs incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $256.90 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
I don't have any questions for you. Is the respondent present? Forward. Maybe start by stating your name for me.
Good afternoon, sir. J. Scott Justin.
You can proceed.
Originally, as she was stated earlier, she was called out over a structure that had burnt down, a pole barn. It was a 40 by 30, so it was a very large tin structure with all my tools for my businesses that were inside. So a lot of stuff had melted together, so it took some time to get cleaned up. As I had stated to her the first time, I have an 89-year-old mom who she knows personally that is bedridden from a broken hip and a broken ankle. She's in rehab and has home health care, but they can only do so much. I have to do everything else. So my job as Orange County commissioners, as a Orange County rigger in hospitality, has not opened up yet since the beginning of COVID. So I've been out of work and learning how to kind of shift gears into taking care of the elderly, so which I'm not used to at all. So a lot of my time has been focused on making sure my mom's diapers are changed, making sure that her laundry's done, and that she's fed properly. I told her that I could only do so much. The green truck was in her name, and her license is expired, so getting an ID for her is almost impossible at the moment without an appointment, which I can now get her in a wheelchair. So now I have to make an appointment. As far as cleaning up, like I said, she was originally called out for the building. The building finally got cleared up. That was my first priority. And the reason why the fence gates and everything were off was so that I can get the debris from the backyard out of the yard. Okay, I had to do this myself and with the help of another friend that was at the house. So we have cleaned up. I have complied with everything else. As far as the vehicles, taking pictures of vehicles with the tag, that was good. I don't understand why that was done. She knew that the tag was valid, so I don't know why she continued to take photos of the vehicle. It was in my backyard, just that the gate wasn't put in front of it because I was cleaning up from the broken down shed, the burnt down shed. Things that were on the side of the house, they weren't junk, they were tools. So I have no place to store things, so I had to store them on the side of the house, close to the house, because that's where my cameras can visibly show if anybody, intruder or anything, tries to theft on any of my tools. I tried to explain that to her, but according to her, it was in compliance. That shed is completely full. That little shed that you see right there in the photo, that one is completely full of tools, and the other ones were too big enough to put in there. I have just recently been annexed into the city of St. Cloud. I used to own property at 1411 Illinois Avenue and lived there for 16 years. I moved out of St. Cloud because I was harassed by the police department and other natures of that gave me things that are relevant to this case, but false charges that they should have never presented on me, that I actually did serve some time over, that I pled to. But neither that, and irrelevant again. I did talk to the city council about fighting the annexing, but of course there was no way around that. I had no choice. But they did tell me that I would not get harassed by the police department, fire department, or code enforcement upon the approval of the annexing. I know it's been a year since then, or more, 2 years, I believe, but still there was no time limit when the city commissioner meeting members had said that. As I stated, there is a hardship in the family. I'm taking care of my mom, unemployed. I did comply with everything that she asked me to, even though it took me a little longer. Most of those photos were taken behind my privacy fence, which, as long as it's not seenable from the road, is a due violation. So I asked that the court or the magistrate waive the fee, if possible, since I am taking care of an elderly lady at the house at my expense.
If I could get you to step just a few feet to one side, I would ask the code enforcement officer a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
So I heard that photographs were taken from behind the privacy fence, and I'm looking at photographs that look like they're taken from street side of privacy fence.
Most of them were street sign. When his friend walked me over to the fence area to show me what was cleaned up, those were taken from right there at the fence line. Also, the property.
How tall is the fence?
6 feet.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what's behind it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because I was taking photos from the front.
So let me show you a photo, and I think it's one of the more, shows a lot. And it's this photograph. If you actually want to pull it up on the screen so everybody can see it once, so just passing the paper around, but it's.
Yes. Okay, so what happened there is
Question is, where is the photo taken from? I'm just trying to
the neighbor's
understand
property.
perspective.
The neighbor's property.
How tall is that fence?
No, that's taken from the side of my house, sir, where the fence line, where the 2 fence panels were off,
My question is, how tall is the fence?
6 foot. Now, the neighbor's house has recently been built, and the code for,
I'll let you come back up.
Yes.
I have the code enforcement officer there now. I'm trying to get perspective. This does not look, from the perspective of the photograph, this does not look like a 6-foot fence. How tall is the fence?
Fence is 6 foot.
Where is the camera positioned in relationship?
This is on the property next door that was built to meet the elevation now, and that's where the complaint's coming from.
So the property is
Property
elevated.
is really high.
Now I understand.
So their front door looks into his mess.
Okay, that was all I had for you. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask the code enforcement officer, or did you just have more you wanted me to hear?
no, I just wanted.
You can come back up then. I just didn't want to, you can sit down. Before I let her sit down, I wanted to make sure you didn't
I
have any
understand.
questions for her.
No, the new code for building houses has to be, the house has to be 2 foot above the road, and at that very corner right there, the road is very high.
I understand
And
that.
since my house is a 1909 house, mine was, of course,
And that's life.
down.
Laws evolve.
I am friends with the neighbors. They only had to complain about the burnt-down structure at the time. They seen that I've been improving, and they
My
come out
job
and
is
talk
not
to
to
me all the
resolve
time.
disputes between neighbors. My job is to enter orders based on the code. And I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I can see intent and design. I can see an intent to, as orderly as possible, store the fallout from a difficult situation. I
Yes,
do.
sir.
Would you want to look at this every day? I know you were, but in a perfect world, would you want to look at this every day?
No, sir, of course. That's
you
why I
understand
try to
where code
put
enforcement
fences
is
around
coming.
the area that,
Understood. But that fence, it may be 6 foot to grade on your side. From the neighbor's property, this is what they're seeing.
I
Can
don't-
you understand that?
excuse me, I don't mean that fence. I mean fences around the other,
I understand, but I mean
Blocking
this
it.
fence right now.
yes.
Would you want to look at that every day in a perfect world?
No, sir, I already answered that.
Can you understand why this is an issue for code enforcement?
Yes.
Nobody is harassing you. You were given a lot of time to comply. From the evidence and testimony I've heard, they've bent over backwards to work with you and give you time.
She did.
I just want, I
She
don't
was
want
on-
you
she-
to walk out of
I
this.
had it done, excuse me, I had most of it done before she went on vacation, and then she went on vacation, which was in the beginning of May or April to the beginning of May, something like that. Because I tried to contact her, but she was on vacation.
Understood. Life was happening. I understand that. I am not judging you personally. I am here to enter an order based on the situation. And this is a violation of the code, in my opinion, and I'm the one who gets to rule today.
Right.
I do not want you to walk out the door feeling as if you were harassed. I want to point out that you were given more time than most respondents are in cases.
Oh,
that
no, I
hear.
do understand that, sir.
So I don't want you to feel harassed, but there are laws and there are laws for a reason, and I understand you have circumstances, and I'm going to try to work with you. There's only so much I can do. Because every case that comes forward, and this is, I know there were other circumstances, but this is fairly extreme.
Do you-
And these, I'm talking now. And these have to be dealt with, and when they rise to code enforcement, this is how they get dealt with, and there is a cost involved in that. And if I don't order respondents to pay the costs of that, then that means all the taxpayers of the city have to pay for somebody who was not complying with code, and sometimes life gets in the way. I understand. I want to work with you. I will not waive the fine. I will give you time to pay it. And I understand you've got the employment situation, you have your mother, those are both big life events. And I'm willing to be very lenient on time to pay, but it will be paid. How much time do you need to pay that?
90 days.
I I was actually thinking 6 months, given the circumstances he's described, and I'm seeing nodding heads. So I'm going to give you 6 months to
Okay,
pay
thank you,
those
sir.
costs. But I do find that there was a violation. I will find that in the order. They're not asking for any fines today.
I understand, sir.
So I will find that there was a violation. The significance of that is if it happens again, then it can be treated as a repeat violation, which can mean fines immediately and a bigger number.
I've been
I
explained.
don't want to
It's
have to
been
see
explained.
that.
Yes, sir.
But I really don't want you to walk out the door with hard feelings towards code enforcement, because understand, these people are just doing their job, and this is what their job is, and it's not always a fun job.
I understand. I was just trying to understand why city council members would say that to me when I was annexed in.
And that's why I'm making a point now of saying nobody was harassing you.
Right. No, I understand that too.
Okay? So you'll get a written order. Make this note as far as payment, the $256.90 for administrative costs of prosecution. I am ordering that be paid, but I am giving you 6 months to pay it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I do want to note that the neighbors, my 6-foot fence, and the neighbor's grass leaves only 2 feet of fence visible, because their grass is, and then it slopes down to my yard.
I finally got that. It was taking me a while. I appreciate that. I did finally get that. I wasn't imagining the elevation change.
I mean, I'm soon to get because I'm trying to put a permit in for a pool and a structure for my mom, because she's in my living room, which permitting is taking up to a month to let me get an appointment. But at that time, I'm figuring leveling their land up so that my 6-foot fence will be 6 foot for them.
That will
You
be an
know what I'm
issue for
saying.
permitting and far beyond my knowledge base.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your hard work on getting that situation cleaned up. It is a night and day between what it was and what it is now. So I appreciate it. I'm sure code enforcement appreciates your hard work.
Is there any papers that I have to?
There is not. You'll receive an order from me in the mail.
That's Claudia. She's your contact person for when you want to make payment. Okay, you're finished.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 2021-142, 2018-3IH, 1H Borrower LP, owner, location of violation, 1603 Krista Court, St. Cloud, Florida. Violation, St. Cloud Land Development Code, Section 3.3.1F and 13.1. Description of violation, failure to prohibit but rather allowed a fence to be installed prior to obtaining a permit.
Good afternoon. Alex Miller, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting the case for the property located at 1603 Krista Court. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted at the property in City Hall, affidavit of postings, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, evidence of mailings, copy of the code sections in violation, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $249.70. The respondent is not here. On February 17, 2021, during routine patrol, I observed a fence was installed at this location prior to obtaining a permit from the building department. A courtesy notice by regular mail was sent to the owner, tenant, and registered agent on record to correct the violation within 7 working days. On March 5th, a reinspection was performed and verified that an application has not been submitted, and a notice of violation by regular mail was sent to the owner, tenant, and registered agent on record to correct the violation within 7 working days. On March 17, a reinspection was performed and verified that an application has been submitted, and the case was placed on hold until the review was completed by the Planning and Zoning Department. On April 20th, I made contact with the tenant, advising them that an owner authorization form was needed before the permit can be issued. On April 26th, a reinspection was performed and verified that the permit has not been issued, and a notice of violation by certified mail was sent to the owner, tenant, and registered agent to correct the violation, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 4 photos. On May 6, I verified that the permit has not been issued, and a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner, tenant, and registered agent on record to correct the violation. I posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and 2 photos were taken. On June 11th, I verified that the permit has been issued on June 1st, and the property is not in compliance. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of not obtaining the permit for the fence that was installed at this location by the time specified. The city will recommend that the respondent pays the administrative cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $249.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And this concludes my presentation.
Did you say that the permit has not yet been applied for?
Yeah, it has been issued already on June 1st. Yes, sir.
But it was issued when, June 1st?
Yes, sir.
Was the only holdup on that permit the owner authorization?
Yes,
Who
sir.
applied for the permit?
The tenant.
Based on the evidence and testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent was in violation for work without a permit, for constructing the fence without proper permits, find that that violation was cured as of the permit issuance on June 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
And order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $249.70, which amount shall be paid within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 2021-569, Lysandra Fernandez and David Martinez, owner, location of violation, 3675 Mocha Drive, St. Cloud, Florida. Violation, St. Cloud Land Development Code, Section 3.3.1 and 13.1. Description of violation, failure to prohibit but rather allowed a fence to be installed prior to obtaining a permit.
Again, this is Alex Miller, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud, and I'm presenting the case for the property located at 3675 Mocha Drive. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the notice of violation posted at the property in City Hall, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall, affidavit of postings, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, evidence of mailings, copy of the code sections in violation, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $199.90. And the respondent is here, and I have provided him with the copies of the evidence
Thank you.
that I'm submitting to you. On March 9, 2020, during routine patrol, I observed a fence was installed at this location prior to obtaining a permit. I verified that there was a permit application on record with the building the permit, but the permit has not been issued. On March 10, a courtesy notice by regular mail was sent to the owners to obtain the permit within 7 working days. On March 25th, a reinspection was performed and verified that the property was still in violation. A notice of violation by regular mail was sent to the owners to correct the violation within 7 working days. On April 6th, a reinspection was performed and verified that the permit has not been issued, and a notice of violation by certified mail was sent to the owners, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 1 photo. On April 19, I made contact with the owners, advising them that the application is now in abandoned status. And they stated that they have made contact with the contractor and were advised that the issue was being taken care of. On April 20th, I verified that the application was still abandoned, and a notice of violation by regular mail was sent to the owners to correct the violation, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took one photo. Sorry. On May 6, upon request from management, this case was placed on hold for 2 weeks for the violation to be corrected by the contractor. On May 27, I verified that the permit still has not been issued, and a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner, posted the property in City Hall, and did an affidavit of posting, and 3 photos were taken. On June 11, I verified that the permit has not been issued and the property is still in violation. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of not obtaining a permit for the fence that was installed at this location by the time specified. The city will recommend that the respondent be given until July 30th, 2021 to obtain the permit, or a fine in the amount of $100 be assessed until compliance is met. The city will also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $199.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And this concludes my presentation.
Do you know what the hold on the permit was? Because you said application was made, right?
Yes, it has been, it's use agreement, easement agreement.
Is the fence, you may not know, I'll ask anyway, is the fence encroaching?
I don't think so, but I don't know that the inspector will have to, when they do the inspection, to verify it.
Do you happen to know the name of the contractor? I'll ask the respondents the same question. but do you-
Osceola Fence,
Who?
Osceola Fence Supply.
Okay. I don't have any further questions for you right now. Respondents?
Good afternoon.
If you would start by telling me your names, please.
My name is Lisandra Fernandez, one of the owners, and my husband, David Martinez.
Okay.
Since this process started, we've been visiting Osceola Fence once or twice in the month, trying to resolve the issue, because we pay to them all the process for permits and, all the process for the fence installation. So we really don't know what else to do, because we've been pushing them, we've been giving them copy of all the notifications that Miller sent to us, and we've been asking them, please, to, finalize the process, because this is affecting us. Right now, we are here, we are taking time, out of our job to resolve something that we pay for it. So one of the time that he went to the office, they said to us that they put the final process and give him an email that they did the process on April 21st, and we're still dealing with this because they didn't resolve anything. So we really don't know what else to do with these people. I'm very frustrated right now, because we don't
understand
know
the
if we have to
frustration.
sue them, what is the next process, because we pay already to them.
I can't advise you there, but I do have some thoughts on I can't help you much. And I do have to rule in the facts that are before me, and this is a violation. There is work that was performed without a permit, and that is the ruling that I will make, and I will get to that. But I believe what you're telling me, that this is a contractor issue. Ultimately, it's your property, and you are responsible for what happens on that property when it comes to the city code. So
I also, sorry that I interrupt, I also called, the city police also to see what else we can do But, you know, they
It's a
told us that they.
Private
all-
matter between you and the contractor, and the
No, no,
city
but
really, there's not a lot the city can do with
Okay.
that. And it may,
What they told, when I talked to the policeman, he told me that they talked to Osceola Fence, that they were gonna resolve it in 14 days, and we didn't have to do anything else. So that's why, you know, we were thinking that this was gonna be resolved, but, you know, right now, we are here.
understood.
If I could, not to interrupt, excuse me.
Yeah.
You know, the city understands the predicament for the property owner. The city would accept, if the permit could be received by the end of July, correct? That the city would, you know, waive any costs, any further economic harm. Certainly, and like you, we're not able to give guidance to the respondents, but certainly, they potentially have causes of action they can pursue.
And it actually wasn't even the costs that was giving me a hard time on this. It's the concern that going forward from today, they're going to keep getting the same runaround. And there's not a lot I can do, but that is why, is it Osceola Fence Supply? Is that the? I'm going to specify the contractor in here. I'm going to give some specifics as to the testimony I received. And so respondent, when you get my order, I want you to make a point of giving that order to them, because I'm at least going to put their name there so that they see that their name is in here. I am going, I think July 30th gives the respondent time to try to work through that process and get some attention from the contractor. So I appreciate the extra time that's already been asked for on this. Maybe that order will help you get a response. And I may put in the order, I'm going to have to think about this, but I am going to make a request of the city. I often, in St. Cloud, the way we handle imposition of fines, if my order is not complied with, I receive an affidavit from the code enforcement officer. That affidavit says that my order was not complied with. I will enter an order that is subject to a request for hearing, at which point you would have what lawyers call a Massey hearing. In this, I'm going to ask that if there are to be fines imposed, that we have the Massey hearing before there's any order issued. So to bring it back on a Massey hearing, because I would be interested to know if it's respondents or contractors' issue. And the language that I'm contemplating for the order is making a point in there that I will subpoena Osceola Fence to come to that hearing. And my request to the city, though, is whether or not, I actually, now that I think about it, have some time to process, I am going to put that in the order. I'm going to put in the order that if this is brought back for rehearing, I want to have Osceola Fence Supply subpoenaed, and I want them here for that hearing, and I will enter that subpoena.
You will issue that.
I just need notification from the city that this is proceeding in enough time ahead of time so that I can get that subpoena issued.
Right, and I was going to just further suggest possibly, because the next scheduled hearing will be before Your Honor, the 21st of July, I believe, which is about 10 days prior to the compliance date that's being contemplated, that we could potentially schedule a status hearing at that time as well.
On, what was the date of that?
July, I think it's the 21st is the third Wednesday of next month, wherein we
I'll
could-
subpoena, then I'll subpoena them for that hearing.
Yeah, just
If
wanted
there's a
thoughts.
request made for the city to issue a subpoena on that, I will issue that subpoena.
Sure. So it's,
that request
so
made?
requested, absolutely, so requested. Okay, all right, thank you. But obviously, in concurring with Special Magistrate, I think it is helpful for the respondents if they do have possession of an order that suggests there could be the imposition of a fine, which, as you know.
Absolutely, that will be in the order.
Will be the triggering point for the contractor to
Yes.
hopefully understand it, it's coming to them eventually.
That will be in the order, yes, sir.
Understood.
So I am going to, for the same reasons you heard on the prior case, I am going to order that the cost be paid. Does 7 days present a hardship for you? Is there a hardship there in the $199.90 if you were to have to pay that in 7 days? No, is there a hardship? Do you have a problem in paying it within 7 days? Do you need more
The
time?
city's okay with you paying that by the end of July.
We are good to pay at the end of July.
Okay,
We
then
can accept that, sure.
I'll just match it with the compliance date then. Thank you.
That'd be fine.
Thank you both.
Unfinished business, none. New business, request for reduction of lien under 50,000. Case number 2020-1744, Carolyn Salop, owner, location of violation 506 Massachusetts Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Afternoon, Jack Morganson for the city. of St. Cloud. This is a request for reduction of fine and lien. Your Honor has the fully executed settlement agreement between City Manager Sturgeon and the respondent, Mr. Espanol, regarding Massachusetts Avenue 506. The proposal is for the payment of $1,704.20 within 30 days of the magistrate's approval, because we're under the 50,000, yes. And I believe this is essentially a 10% calculation of the accrued fine with the recovery of the administrative costs, is what that figure represents, essentially.
And I've reviewed the correspondence and the agreement between city manager and respondent, and I am willing to approve that reduction of fines, so ordered.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. We have until 30 days to pay the.
Correct.
We can come over here and pay?
Me llaman a mí. Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 2020-2095, Patrick A. Tarsian, owner, location of violation 1724 West Acres Drive, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Jack Morrison for the city. Another request for reduction of fine lien settlement. This case was heard back at the end of last year and resulted in a total fine accrued of $7,200 plus administrative cost $234.70. City Manager Sturgeon and respondent have agreed to a settlement amount, if paid within 30 days, of $954.70, which again is, I believe, 10% of the accrued fine plus the full recovery of the administrative costs.
And I have reviewed the correspondence and the agreement, and I will authorize that reduction of fines, and will so order.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next scheduled meeting, July 21st, 2021.
And just some housekeeping matters on the subpoena and the fence. Jack, if your office will supply me with a subpoena in a format that you prefer.
Okay.
And I'll let you prepare the subpoena, and then if I don't have any changes to it, I'll sign it and issue it.
Okay.
Police Department, I'm going to ask that that be served by Police Department, because under code, it's either served by Sheriff's Office or the local police department. So I will return that to City Attorney, and I will actually, I'll get that to the City Attorney's office, and I'll let you guys appropriately serve the subpoena.
Sure, we'll do it.
Further requests on any cases, if you have other cases with Osceola fence supply that are coming forward, send me a subpoena, and I'm going to issue that subpoena too.
Okay.
Because it's too much, and they need to be here answering for what's going on.
We'll do. We'll do.
And that is all I have. Anything else from the city?
No, sir.
Thank you all. We are adjourned.